Hi, everyone. I'm Charlene Shirk, and welcome to Digital Champions, where we speak to some of the most innovative thinkers in the digital space. Joining us today from Newbury Park, California, is James Bond with U.S. Management. James, thanks so much for joining us today on Digital Champions.
Thank you, Charlene.
So tell us what you do there at U.S. Management.
Well, I invented something that's blowing people's minds and changing the way they do marketing, advertising, and persuasion. And it's called brain glue, and it's really profound. When he was on his way to becoming the world's richest man, Warren Buffett decided to not just invest in companies, but actually buy companies. And when he bought Mutual Savings Bank in Pasadena, his team brought me in because I'm one of America's leading behavioral management specialists. And I was able to, they asked me to transform top managers who hated selling into high-performing reps. And the results we had were just so profound that it ended up taking off. Our company started taking off.
James, how are you able to do that so successfully?
We use brain science. It's something I call brain glue that actually applies not just to management, but actually to marketing. Because I have an advertising background. I ran an ad agency in Montreal before I moved to California. We had major clients like Kraft, Timex, Avon, Seagram's and stuff. I learned back then, which is like 30 odd years ago, I'm like really old, the power of brain science. And what I did was, although it worked with management, with changing how people act, I also recognized that it works when you apply it to advertising itself. And the results have been profound in things that we've discovered. For example, brain science is really powerful. There's an aspect of it called that has to do with the decision centers of the brain are triggered by emotion. I mean, we buy for emotion reasons more than we buy for logic reasons. Obviously, there has to be some logic there, but emotion has to be triggered. And there are ways to trigger the emotion parts of the brain so that you can accelerate selling through your ads, your emails, your social media posts, your one-on-one presentations. I'll give you an example. If you take the phrase, if the gloves don't fit, you must acquit, and the product Squatty Potty, what do those two have in common? Well, something that most people don't realize is both use tools to trigger the emotion side of the brain so people want to buy from them or agree with them. I mean, O.J. Simpson there was tons of evidence against O.J. Simpson, but when Johnny Cochran, his attorney, used the phrase, if the gloves don't fit, you must acquit, that phrase was powerful enough to trigger the emotion inside the jurors. So they actually, I saw an interview after the trial, and they had two jurors, and they were asked, like, why did you let him go? And they said, well, we were told if the gloves don't fit, you must acquit. The gloves didn't fit, so we acquitted. We had to acquit. And so it's really powerful. Wonder Bread is a good example because Wonder Bread, they invented sliced bread. There's the old line, like, wow, it's most powerful thing since sliced bread. Well, Wonder Bread invented sliced bread, and they became massively successful, and they dominated the industry for 10 years. But their competitors recognized that there was a disease called pellagra that had a vitamin. If you ate products or if you had a vitamin deficiency, then you would get this disease called pellagra. So the competitors came up with this phrase that practically bankrupted Wonder Bread, and it was, the whiter your bread, the quicker you're dead. Think about how powerful that is. And so when you take powerful phrases like this and then you apply it to something like a Squatty Potty. Let's take a product called Squatty Potty. Squatty Potty went from $0 to $100 million, in a short period of time, a year and a half. And a Squatty Potty is a toilet stool. You sort of sit on it, put your feet up on it when you're on the toilet. So if they called the product toilet stool, do you think it would be as successful as the product Squatty Potty? No, absolutely not. The Squatty Potty triggers things in the brain that makes people go like, what? Ooh, what? And it's really powerful. My wife likes to say, well, they could have called it the stool. I don't know if that really works. But no, it doesn't work as well as Squatty Potty. So John Gray was telling me, and this applies to products, to books, to just pitches, sales pitches. John Gray was telling me how his book, Men and Women in Relationships, was going nowhere. Men and Women in Relationships. And then he got this crazy idea from one of the seminars he was doing to try to promote the book to change the name to Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. And the book went from 0 to 20 million copies virtually overnight. That's over $250 million of sales because of this name. And so the more we understand the power of brain glue and applying brain glue to our products and our product pitches, you switch your pitch if you want to get rich. That's the key, okay? Understand that there are certain ways that you can describe what your product or service is, either in its name or description, that will accelerate sales like crazy. And I know as an advertiser, we do ads, and ads were great and everything else. We run ads. We were logical, very logical. We're taught in school how to, make your pitch by being logical. Make your point. But the problem is that if you don't include emotional triggers, you're limiting the persuasive power of your advertising. And so
James,
we started recognizing
we're going to have to leave it
Sure.
there, but thank you so much. But you're absolutely right. It's the hook, right? It's the brain glue hook. That's exactly what you're talking about. Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you so much for making the time to join us today on Digital Champions.
Thank you.
Awesome. Well, if you'd like to learn more about what James is doing over at U.S. Management and check out his book, you can start by going to dailyadbrief.com. Well, I'm your host, Charlene Shirk. Thanks so much for joining us on Digital Champions, and we look forward to learning something new with you next time.
Simplify presents Addressable CTV, combining the power of TV with the targeting and attribution of digital. Simplify's Addressable CTV delivers massive reach with the ability to scale without sacrificing precision. TV buyers can generate incremental reach with household-level targeting, frequency controls, reporting, and insights. To learn more about Simplify's Addressable CTV and what it can do for your clients, visit simply.fi.